Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Multifamily Monday. My name is Jesse Grimm, the Vice President of Multifamily and Investments here at Avis & Young. And today we're in the Avis & Young offices with a very special guest, Eugenia Larmore from EKAY Consultants. Eugenia, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. So EKAY Economic Consultants, Eugenia, you're the president of the company and you put out some fantastic reports in regards to trends in the Northern Nevada marketplace. And that's really the crux of the conversation I'd like to talk about today, and is really the concern of affordability. You know, when you look at affordability of homes, and more specifically affordability of multifamily apartments. But before we get into that, I'd love to hear a little bit more about you and EKAY Consultants.
So we are Reno-based economic consulting firms. It's very hard to explain what we do in one word. So I call it economic analysis. We do feasibility and market studies. We do fiscal impact and gaming analysis and economic impact. So anything that really measures change in economic terms. I think that's kind of the simplest way to describe it. We take economic data and we try to predict what's going to happen.
Interesting. Now, with a lot of the reports, you'll find not only the EKAY Economic Consultants logo, but you'll find the Center for Regional Studies. In fact, last week I had a chance to interview Brian Bonifant, and we had a fantastic conversation about the housing market in regards to construction. So it looks like you two really partner up on a lot of these reports and work together collaboratively.
We do. We have a great synergy going. Brian, as you know, is a great source of demographic and economic and housing data in the region. We are the analytical arm. We take Brian's data and we create the reports and the analysis.
Fascinating. So who would be your type of client then?
We work with developers. We've done studies for local governments looking at impacts of developments, business owners looking to move to the area, expand, developers looking to see if Reno is the market for them, gaming operators. I also work with attorneys. I do expert witness work for personal and business damages. So quite a broad scale of clientele.
A wide range of expertise, so we appreciate having you here today.
Thank you.
So one of the things I really want to dive into is affordability, because this has been the hot topic, I think, over the last maybe year, 2 years now, is the increase not only in home prices, but the increase in rental rates for apartments as well. And I'd really like to know, based upon some of the reports that you provide here, which are fantastic, you have a Housing Affordability Index report. And that basically gives us a sense of where affordability is at. I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about that report.
Absolutely. We actually just created the report just a few months ago. It's been kind of a dream of mine to, obviously in response to all of the affordability discussion, to create something like this, and we finally were able to pull together all of the data we need. And really, we need three key pieces of data. We need the home prices, and then we need to find out what can people afford.
Sure.
And part of the affordability issue is how much does it cost, how much do you spend on your home expenses. So that includes your mortgage or rent. Mm-hmm. It's interchangeable depending on what we're looking at. And then utilities and property taxes if you own the property. So everything that's house related, everything that's going to come out of your income to pay for your home expenses. So we look at that and we try to determine, based on mortgage rates, based on housing prices, how much can a person afford. We arrive at a qualifying income, and then we compare that to what's the income actually is in the area. So, and that's the index, is the comparison of actual income to the qualifying income. And where we are right now in the third quarter of 2019 is the index is 87.9.
Okay.
It's a great...
Now what does that mean?
Oh, you don't just...
We should know this.
Tell you anything. So it's a great number in that it's comparable over time, and we can tell whether the index is going up or down. Okay. But what this really means is you subtract 100 minus 87.90.
Okay.
So it's about, making me do math, it's about...
We'll round up to 13.
13%. So the ability to afford a home in the Reno area is, you need 13% more income than an average family makes right now.
Oh, okay.
Or an average family makes 13% less income than what is required to afford a house in the area. So we are still not affordable for an average family. We're 13% higher than we should be if you look at that balance.
And do you mind if I ask, with that 87% number that you're talking about, where relatively does the median income lie in that? Where are we at right now with that?
The median income in the area, well, it's a median family income.
Family income,
And
okay.
we look at family incomes, this is getting you into the weeds on economics, but family income, because families are the people who typically purchase homes. If you look at by definition, households could include a number of roommates or unrelated people. They're typically not people who are buying homes.
Interesting.
So we focus on family income. A lot of the governmental agencies that look at this focus on family income. Just kind of a little aside.
Yeah, no,
But
I appreciate that.
The median family income in the area is somewhere around $76,000.
So just rough numbers, because we don't want to do math this early in the morning, but if we're at $75,000 to $77,000 per family median income, where do we need to be to hit right at 100% for that affordability, do you think, roughly?
About 88.
About 88, okay. Which leads us to the next topic, because I think this is really interesting. When you look at the different agencies trying to promote business into this marketplace, they're doing a fantastic job, and we're slowly bridging the gap of increasing that family income, right? The family median income.
Correct.
Do you think that we're on track to raising that wage enough to get us to that 100%, or is that still a concern of yours?
You know, the great thing about dealing with averages is you're not seeing the highs and the lows.
True.
Correct. So there's always going to be the 50% who are below the median income. The great news is our wages in the area are growing significantly. Just wages, not family income, which can include rents and dividends and other incomes.
Okay.
But just wages grew by 4% between first quarter of 18 and 19. Inflation during that time was about 1.8%.
Oh.
So our wages are exceeding inflation and have been for the last few periods. So that there's great news in that. And that's a combination of both economic growth and the attraction of higher paying jobs to the area. And I think that's what you've been talking about. Our wages are growing because we're moving away from the service sectors to the manufacturing and more professional services sectors. And that's been kind of a godsend in a way because of the increases of the housing prices. That keeps affordability from getting, or the affordable index, at least that comparison, from getting completely out of hand.
So let's take this conversation back to, and we're going to focus more so on apartments and rents. Now, with what you have, it's kind of interchangeable, like you said, right? Not only affordability for housing, but affordability for rent too. But looking primarily at rent, do you think developers are getting nervous that we're hitting the peak of what they can charge for rents based upon what you're seeing with your index?
I think yes and no. If you look at the Johnson Perkins report, they reported third quarter median rents, or I guess it's probably average rents in the area of $13.45. But we went up $1 since last
One whole dollar.
Yeah. But we set a record. So
we did.
If we ignore the context of the $1, we set another record. If we use the affordability calculator, we're obviously not calculating property taxes because renters don't pay those, but just the rent price and the estimated utility costs, you need a family income of about, or household income in this case, because you could have roommates, of about $54,000. That is obviously below what we were talking about for the average family income in the area. So in that sense, it is affordable. Again, but then you're dealing with typically the people who are renting. I mean, there may be some preferences issues.
Sure.
But if we talk about it, typically it's on the lower income populations. When you're talking about median family incomes, as I mentioned, you're at 50%.
Correct.
You have those 50% who are below the...
And you might have a larger pool of below that 50% as well, which can affect the numbers, right?
In terms of demand for apartments, correct.
Okay.
So yes, we're still affordable. You have quite a ways to go before apartments are not affordable for that $75,000 median income.
Interesting.
But those are not typically the people who are looking for the apartments.
Yeah.
So it depends on how you look at those numbers. There's, the great news is there's still a lot of kind of transient population. People are moving into the area and looking for apartments who are just not willing or unable, or just the timing is wrong to buy a house.
Sure.
So there's a lot of demand for higher end multifamily, absolutely. But in terms of affordability, it's a little tight on kind of the lower income people.
Yeah. It'd be very fascinating to see the index that you have here kind of broke up, and more specifically to multifamily as well. And I think that'll definitely help a lot of the developers and brokers and everyone else really get a sense of where we stand in the marketplace. And I really appreciate what you have here so far. I mean, they're fantastic numbers. If someone's wanting to work with you or wanting to get some of these reports, how do they go about contacting you?
Dr. Google.
Right.
Google EKAY Economic Consultants or Eugenia at ekayconsultants.com. That's my email.
And we'll also put that on the video as well. And just so you know, EKAY is EKAY.
Thank you.
EKAY, yep, consultants.
I take that for granted.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate your time today, and I look forward to the next conversation, maybe when we break down the reports a little bit more and really get a sense from the apartment perspective, in addition to the housing perspective, where we stand, a couple quarters down the road. This is exciting news right here. I love hearing about this.
Good. Well, I would love to talk to you more about this.
Eugenia, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.